Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, Homestead in the Desert. And here we are, 5:24, going on 5:30 p.m. It's still 90 degrees out here. 9% humidity. Winds of 7 to 14. Right now they're about 7. So I'm not going to bother putting on my windproof mic. I don't think it'll be that loud out there, but we're going to head on outside and take a look at things. Yeah, the summer's still here. Good old Indian summer. And yeah, it was shorts, tank top, and flip-flops all day today. So let's start up at the garage so I can get that closed down before any slithery friends decide to move on in there. So what did I do today? Well, I finished up the ladder I was making for my neighbors. It's going to go down in their cistern so that they can climb in and out of there. And this is it right here. So these posts, yeah, I ran out of paint, so they can finish up the painting on it. But I got a good coat of primer on it, and then I got a good coat of rubberized paint on there, so it's protected from rusting. Anyway, these feet will sit on top of the wall or even onto the deck if they want it a little closer in there, so that the wall of the cistern is actually about right here as it goes down. So it gives them a good 6 inches or so. So when you put your feet on the rungs, you don't bang your toes into the wall. And that'll fasten down with 3 concrete screws on each side. And that'll hold that in place. Then on the bottom here, I left the threads on there. So if they need to adjust this out a little bit or in a little bit, they can put on galvanized caps. This is 1-inch pipe, rigid. So they could put galvanized caps on here with a little bit of thread sealant so that the water doesn't get in. And then they can adjust that by turning the cap. It'll give them, an 1/8 of an inch or to 1/4 of an inch of adjustment if the wall isn't perfectly square and they want to make sure this sits and rests up against it. Now that was the ladder that they originally brought down for me to modify, and a piece of pipe there, and I just didn't feel good about doing that, and I'll give them that ladder back. They can do what they want with it. Maybe they have something else. I would get some of those yellow plastic pails and slide them in there and make a hanging garden, hold 3 buckets. Anyway, so this is what I was doing all day today. I got this all welded together and painted and shaped and all of that stuff. And as you can see, it's sitting square on the two by fours there. So it's done. And I didn't spend a heck of a lot of time on that. I only used about 3 hours of my time to build that. That's because I have the tools to do it. This big orange thing right here is a hydraulic pipe bender, and it's a 12-ton pipe bender. And then those over there on top of the saw are the different size pipe fittings that I can put on there. I can go all the way up to a 2.5-inch pipe on this thing. You move the rollers on here back and in or out to depend on how big of an arch or how big of a radius you want to make. And then you lay this thing down. These posts here are feet. So this lays down this way. So these posts and that back plate keep this up off the ground. And then you can stand on it to steady it as you crank the hydraulic jack up and bend your pipe. And what's pretty cool is that whoever designed this thing and figured it out, the angles of these supports on the sides there, they're not just there to hold the thing up and hold it together. They actually, when you bend this thing, you align your pipe with those, and it'll tell you when you've got a 90 degree or a 45 degree, all of that. It's pretty cool. So anyway, that was one of the things that I got done. Then you can see that the fridge is gone. The two fridges are gone. One of them is down just past my workbench and up against the wall, and I've got it set up on a plastic milk crate to keep it off the floor and out of the dirt. And that one I'll use down the line for keeping cold drinks. This one, of course, this is the one that burnt out on me and killed my battery banks. But I cleaned it all up inside, got it looking nice and clean and disinfected. So I've got all of this storage space. This is going to go down into the greenhouse, right about where the trailer's sitting against that wall, next to my potting soils and all of that. And I still want to put something under it to raise it up a little bit so I don't have to bend over to get down in there. But I'll raise it up a little bit and have another cabinet underneath it or something to where I can keep my seeds and liquid fertilizers that might freeze in the winter and all of that. I can keep all of that stuff inside of here so it's protected from heat and cold. Cool, huh? Got my second tote completely scrubbed and ready to go. There's still a little bit of black marks on the inside. It just doesn't want to come off. But since that's going to be irrigation water anyway, that'll be fine. So I got that one over there is really nice and clean. I really got that one scrubbed down. So I use that one for hauling water that I could reuse, potable water. And then this one, and this one's, you see my brush on here. I've got to get down and inside of it and scrub all the junk off. This one originally didn't have the cap on top of it when I got it from Don. And a bunch of leaves and stuff had gotten in there and absorbed the oily based substance that's in here. It's biodegradable stuff, and it's environmentally friendly and all of that, so it's not anything that I'm really worried about. This is it right here, and it's a good item. So I'll use these for irrigation water, and I want to get this one cleaned up too and get that set into place so that when the rains start, when those two are full, instead of the excess running on the ground like they did last year, I'm going to have these two set right in front of them with a hose coming off of the manifold of those going right into these so that I can catch that excess water. I'll just let it run off of those and fill these first and then fill those second. And I'll have 4 times 275 gallons. And that's, 1,100 gallons. That's a pretty good sum of water. And then down there I've got 3 more, and that'll keep me going for quite a while into the next year's growth. All right, so next, talking about the winter coming and cold inside of the greenhouse, because again, that is only plastic walls on there. And even though I'm going to be closing the vents down on the roof of the thing, it's not going to hold a lot of heat for a very long time after the sun sets. So once the cold starts, I've got to figure out how to keep that warm. Well, here's one of my ideas right here. I got 2 wine bottles here full of old vegetable oil. And I got some braided cotton rope in there. That's and yeah, it's extra long because you want to be able to pull these up as the wick burns down a little bit. You can pull them up and get more wick out of them. So I wanted to have enough so that as the oil goes down and the wick goes up, the wick still stays in the oil. So I'm going to be lighting these off and testing them, but I was concerned about possible earthquake and these things tipping over or something like that. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to build a wooden plank type thing that these will sit on with something that holds them in, and then something that goes in between the two and holds them from wanting to tip over. And then I figured, well, while I'm doing that, why don't I come out a little further and come up a little bit higher with two side pieces, even if it's metal pipe of some kind. And then right on top of where the flame is, I'll put a piece of 3 or 4 inch stove pipe or some other type of pipe like that, so that these flames heat the pipe up, and then the hot air will come out of the pipe on both ends and kind of like move it around inside of the greenhouse and give me a little bit more heat. Instead of just heating the air around the flame, I'll be heating a metal pipe above it. So I'm gonna get to work on that idea and see what I can do about that. So remember I said a while back that I had not put in all of the screws in these eaves, and the moths were getting inside, and that's definitely how they were getting in, because since I finished putting all the screws in that needed to be in there, no more moths inside. Yay! Because you get up every morning and find dead moths laying on the inside windowsills or on the floor or on top of the sofa and things like that. Just a pain in the neck. So my other thing here now is I've got critters that are starting to tunnel under the house again. So there's one hole right there, and I put some coffee grinds in there, and it doesn't look like the coffee grinds have moved, so nothing's gone in and out of there since I put that there. But I'm gonna have to get me one of those gopher traps and stick that down inside there and see what I catch in it, because I found a couple of those around the cabin, and I collapse them and do whatever I can to try to keep them from going under there. They got a couple in the front of the cabin here too, and I did the same thing, coffee grounds, and collapsed them. So yeah, I don't need to be listening to that noise all winter long and having them getting up into my floor insulation and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I showed you the temps and how hot it's been out here. Yep, just beautiful. Look at the sky, but look at that smog over there. Purple smog. Yeah, that's smog. That's not smoke from the fires. That's smog. When it's purple, it's smog. Over that way, not so much. So there's supposed to be what they're calling an onshore flow, and that's why all of the smog from down in LA has blown over that way, and it's up against the mountains, so it's being hung in there. Nice stuff, right? All right, so that's about all I have for today. This is G Bear reminding you, give me a thumbs up down there. Don't forget to subscribe, and I thank you when you do. I welcome you aboard when you do. So come on, be welcomed aboard. G Bear signing off.